you know how we talked about how pranayama helps with, how breath work helps with your internal peace. But I know it's a very difficult question to answer, but in what way, how does it help rather? How does it help when you feel overwhelmed with the climate news or when you feel overwhelmed generally in life? So maybe try and explain to people who are watching it how it makes you feel when you do it, so that they're more intrigued to want to try it because they want to feel that way. So how does it help? I know it helps, but how?
See, the journey is towards the truth. The truth has to be the prime source within you to understand and eliminate the distractions. So when your journey is towards the truth, there are hindrances. As long as the world exists, good and evil forces exist. So when you face conflicts, or when you face difference of opinion, or when you have challenging physical circumstances, or when you are not in balance, whatever be the reason, our job is to make sure we bring in the value streams to harmony. Calm the nerves as an individual, collectively as a team, making sure. That's why group meditation sometimes people advocate. Prayers are nothing but meditation. Yeah, see, you have a group prayer. What do you mean by it? It's a collective wisdom to recognize, take the toxic out of you and bring the positive energy, setting your mindset towards a common agenda, shared vision, shared leadership. Then everything becomes more positive, constructive. It's the way we dimension this, the way we look at it, what matters. So everything in life is an opportunity as a design. Everything is constructive, everything is positive, everything can only be a purposeful.
And I think yoga also, sort of helps with energy balance in a way that you cannot explain it in words because that's how you feel. And I think they always say, right, transcend positive energy, put the energy out in the universe that you want back. So if you want things to work in your favor, if you want things to be positive, or if you want to communicate to other people while you're trying to get work done, or if you're dealing with a difficult person or a difficult situation, if the energy is positive, automatically, not only do you project that to the other person, but that's what sort of comes back at you from the other person as well. So making sure that you have the right energy flow when you have to deal with crisis or stress or people or work or anything that might be out of the ordinary a little bit, I think the breath work sort of helps with that.
Every thought, every seed which you put inside, it matters. You put good thoughts, you get good deeds. You put junk thoughts, you get the consequence, catastrophic action. You keep good food within you, it energizes you. You put junk food, it creates more confusion to your body. So it's an essence of accepting the current situation, convert the negatives into positives by yoga, by meditation, and making sure you pick up the right choice. That ability to distinguish between good and bad, right and wrong, is a wisdom. And that ability you harness time and again by taking this integration within you by breathing control.
Right. And does yoga, I think I know the answer to this, but does yoga help us feel more connected to nature, so that we are more conscious, more aware of nature, and we can contribute towards sustainability, towards the nature because we're more connected? But does it help you?
Look at the Sustainable Development Agenda itself. So just peace is vital, right? Whether country or individual, you can have conflict, I mentioned to you. So if you require peace and happiness, cannot come from anywhere out. It has to come from within. I cannot make you happy. I cannot make you unhappy either. You cannot hurt me. You cannot make me happy unless I want to be happy. Okay, you can give me any advice. Nothing I'll be taking it unless I recognize This is within me. I analyze it. So the idea is to recognize this meditation, this pranayama, this breathing control gives you the ability to recognize the conflict and resolve within yourself and give the peace and happiness for you to be moderate enough to exhibit the right course of action.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you a question even though you're not a yoga instructor, but and if you are a yoga instructor and you're watching this episode, please feel free to answer this question in the comments below. But the question is, what is one of those yoga poses that somebody can do no matter what their level of flexibility is, that sort of helps with centering yourself? So a simple yoga pose, like I said, if you're a yoga instructor, please put in your answers in the comments. But what do you think has worked for you in terms of when you started doing yoga versus now? Because now you're a little more flexible, but what's the one thing that's truly
simple pranayama, whether young or old, take the breathing and your control, inhale and exhale. Okay, cross ventilate, making sure you have exhibition on both sides and making sure you energize it in the frequency required, times required. You see the result by yourself. There are other yogas like Hatha Yoga or Iyengar. There are many other forms. Those are, oceans. Simple ability to control is your breathing techniques. Learn the breathing techniques. Anyway you're breathing, regulate it.
Yeah.
Watch it carefully. Regulate it. Enjoy it. Life is so, measurable and it is limited. You have to necessarily make sure you intensify your, contribution to this beautiful journey.
Okay, and this is almost sort of, I guess, controversial or not controversial, but there are a lot of people who think that yoga is very spiritual and it's not for them. So what would you like to say to them to get them to understand why yoga is?
Yoga exposed within yourself the good and bad. It is an experience you have to. Spirituality or religion or way of life or philosophy, whichever way you want to segment it, that's your call. Yoga is a holistic exercise. Yoga is ethical living. Yoga is an integration of your, as I said in the beginning, again and again I'm saying, you are seeing only the physical body. There are senses which are controlled by you that has to keep maintaining that control, right? If it goes excessive, if it is not controllable, you are going to lose your ability to have the sensitivity as well as the purpose, whether eyes or ears or nose or mouth or whatever you want to exhibit. The purpose is to recognize the transition is real. Purpose is to recognize you have a transition space on a daily basis is real. You are in the transition phase when you are sleeping. You get into regeneration. Recognition of your wake up is a call of a rebirth in substance. The transition space is a separate identity in the yogic culture, norms. So integration of all these three is essential. If you don't introspect, if you don't connect all three, you will not have a balanced growth. You will have success in certain parts. You can be materially successful, you may not be happy, or you may be happy. You may not be peaceful. Happiness and peace will have to come as a synchronized a spirit or soul, whatever you want to call it. Every faith says the same thing. It's not a religious fact. It is a substance of the truth. The road leads to one's destination. Truth. Recognition of the self. Recognition of this nature. Recognition of the synchronization between the nature and yourself. That's yogic culture. And that's what is a gifted exercise given to us for sustainable value creation, sustainable journey to this planet. There is nothing which goes out of your mission throughout the journey. You can have physical impairment, you will have distortions in your subtle forms, but your existence is purposeful, meaningful, and adding incremental value to this beautiful journey.
So I feel like we did say that yoga connects with nature, and I sort of said, when you connect with nature, you sort of become more conscious of what's happening in nature. So can we indirectly say that yoga sort of helps us treat the planet better?
The very fact your recognition that you are integral part of the nature, and your substance and nature substance are same. You're going to protect it. So if you love yourself, you love the nature. Bottom line is this: if you are breathing, so you need to have clean air. You are drinking water. Okay. You need to make sure the water is not polluted. You eat the soil. Again, you have to make sure soil erosion is not endangering your solvency or human existence, I mean. So the gravity comes out of the sky. You have to make sure you have a fine balance to understand the gravity, and you stay in balance. Every part of your body is interconnected, isn't it? It's interconnected. This is the design itself is a yogic design. One cannot be detached to be excelling in its own performance. So it is interconnectivity. Same thing when it comes to common agenda of nature.
Right.
You are part of the nature. You love yourself and you love the nature. If you don't have this habit, start doing from today. Recognize that you will have a beautiful life.
So can you almost say that, as might be controversial, but in terms of activism, but is yoga also a sort of, can be a way of activism?
It is a philosophy. It is a culture. It's a dharmic culture, I should say. It is righteousness in substance. It is giving you the ability to look at objectively and introspect the right course of reflection. Sometimes you go wrong in this material world. We are bound to. And you recognize the issue and you put back yourself in track. And that's the opportunity you have through introspection or self-reflection or integration or through yogic culture.
Yeah.
So you cannot alleviate the fact good and evil will continue to come. You have an autopilot to reject the negatives, absorb only the positives. How do you do it? It's a constant. As long as you exist, good and evil will exist. As long as you exist, you learn how to live life. Both are mutually inclusive.
And we talked about how yoga helps with that inner peace, right? And how it also helps us connect with nature, all of that. But can you almost say that there's a correlation with that inner peace and a peaceful planet?
See, a good person can create a good family. When there is righteousness in your heart, there is beauty in your character. When there is beauty in your character, there is harmony in your home. When there is harmony in your home, there is order in the nation. When there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. It was told by Abdul Kalam, the late president of India. So, if you are a good person, only you can create good corporate or profession or society or country or planet. So one man can make a difference. So everyone can make a difference. Everyone is unique in this 7 billion, irrespective of the gender. plus the living creatures. Don't forget. And that runs in,
It's an ecosystem.
multiple billions.
And what would you say sustainability means from a yogic standpoint?
Synchronize your nature. Recognize the nature. Recognize you are integral part of the nature. Recognize the living good. If you recognize yourself, if you recognize the nature, the peace and love and happiness is guaranteed. That's the beauty. That's the beauty. That's yoga for you, to sum it up.
Okay. And I just have a fun question for you, is that if the earth could be a yoga pose, what would it be?
See, basic asanas, if you look at it, it's an integration, as I said. When you sit in Padmasana, you connect the world. That's the yogic pose. The forms are very many in yogic culture, but the substance is same. Inhale and exhale, right? So that's the interconnectivity we are talking about, irrespective of the form.
So I would think that if the earth was a yoga pose, it would be, when you do Anulom Vilom, you have the Brahma Mudra and then like
Pranayama.
Yeah, I think doing that together would, in my head, I think that would be the yogic pose for the earth.
Very true. You see, the United Nations, when they cleared, and 167 countries out of 192 countries as member countries passed a resolution on June 21st, 2015. That's what they did. Sitting in yogic posture is what the reflection they personify as a culture. That transcends beyond personalities. That's the value system.
So that's all we have for today. Thank you so much. And I think thank you for reminding us that yoga reminds us that we're not different from the planet. We are the planet. And so if this intrigued something in you, I think maybe it's time to roll out the mat and start, following your inner peace journey, or start getting into the yoga practices and breathing that will help. And don't forget to share this with someone who might be in a need of peace, or if you feel like this could transcend to somebody else to help connect with the planet as well.
Be peaceful, be happy, get into yogic practice. It's a beautiful exercise, beautiful integration for self-reflection, loving the nature, protecting this planet, protecting your own self, your children, grandchildren. You want to inherit better world to your children and grandchildren. If that's the case, let us love ourselves. Let's reflect our love and happiness through this yogic culture.
This is Shruti Seetharaman, and thank you so much for watching. We will see you in our next episode on Thursday in the Green Generation podcast.
Absolutely, it's my delight, Shruti. Thank you for asking me all these interesting and exciting questions.
Thank you.